our own Pat Davis.
Oh, that's right, I'm not wired, am I?
How do we welcome her?
How you do want to speak of you? Is there anything that we can do for you? I can come today, people away. How do you want to speak of you?
Thank you. And I want to just make a special thank you to Bill, because apparently when I sent in my PowerPoint yesterday, it wasn't formatted for this size screen, and everybody would have had just crazy photos. All right, excellent. Thank you so much. I didn't know I was going to have a mic in my hand here, so let me just readjust. What's that?
Is that all recycled paper?
Yes.
Nice to see you. Thanks, Louis. So, good morning. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, mostly. I'm glad that our executive director is here. I'm just going to pretend he's not here for the rest of the day, or the rest of the morning here. This is my maiden presentation for our organization, so I'm feeling just a little bit of pressure, but glad to be here. And when I was thinking about how I wanted to talk about this, I kind of started putting together this, the philosophy, and I thought, really what it comes down to for me is what is it, when I talk to other people just on the street or people that I know, what always comes out for me is what inspires me about this organization. And so that's kind of what I figured I'd just focus on, is what is it that just really excites me and that I think is dynamic and wonderful and different about this organization. So, there we go. All right, shuffling here. There we go. So basically, a little bit of history. The Land Paths was founded in 1996. It was created to manage a 1,500-acre McCormick Ranch, which eventually was able to be accepted by the state park system into Sugarloaf. Later, shortly after that, they launched an outings program, and where we could give people public access to different properties, but eventually our properties, but also just taking people out onto the land. We developed and I'm going to talk about a lot of these things in a little bit more detail a little bit further on. We developed an outdoor education program for elementary school students called In Our Own Backyard. And that is a multi-day education program for elementary school students, including some kids here in Sebastopol. Protected the grove of the old trees. There was a grove of redwoods up on Joy Road in Occidental, and the neighbors, it was being threatened to be logged and developed, and the neighbors came together to save this, and Land Paths was able to take ownership of that parcel so that it's protected. And the community wanted somebody who had good stewardship and good values, who was going to care for this property. And actually just recently we just added another 15 acres to it, so now it's, I believe, like 48 acre privately held preserve in Occidental. It's the only privately held preserve that is open 24 hours a day to the public. And we were instrumental in helping preserve Willow Creek Ranch out in the Willow Creek area along the Russian River. And developed a permit program where we could give people who had a permit-based access to that property, and it became a model for other permit-based access for other properties around the county as well. We were part of the diversity initiative, which to bring more non-traditional constituency into the outdoor experiences, and it was helped us launch the Bear Farm program, and also Vamos Afuera, which means let's go outside in Spanish. And we also protected several properties, Riddell, Bohemia, Rancho Mark West, where we engage people on the land. Some of you matched some of those properties. I see Linda here. She's come out and done some star parties on some of our properties. which we'll also talk more about. We also launched Trek Sonoma, which was basically just to go deeper, from outings to how do we really engage the land, how do we care for the land, how do we have deep relationships. After Sandy Hook happened in 2012 was what we were looking at, what can we do to dig deeper to get the teens engaged and committed in the community. How can we engage teens so that they feel like they're a part of it, and that they belong, and that they're not just separate, and provide environmental education and youth leadership, mentoring for those kids. Our nature-based programs for children, we have a commitment to having at least 30% of our students, our kids, be scholarship kids, because we really want to reflect the face of Sonoma County. Anyway, I'm gonna stop with some of the history stuff and kind of dig into some of what we do here. So, sorry, I'm trying to juggle three things at once. There we go. So where were you young? And I guess, for me, it just kind of makes me think about, wondering what was your experience of being a kid out in nature? Where did you, what was your experience? What did your outdoor play look like? How did it influence you? And what is it you remember about nature that touches you now? And, what is your experience now when you go out in nature? I grew up on the side of Mount Tam, and the outdoors was a really important experience for me as a kid. Thank you. Being outdoors was a really important experience for me as a kid. I grew up on the mountain. I have certain places on the mountain that I went to over and over again, and I have this, even though I don't live in Mill Valley anymore, I have this deep caring for that place. It's like I think of Rock Creek, Rock Springs, and I'm just, it's like it brings back these vivid memories. Being woken up by my dad at 2 o'clock in the morning to go see the meteor showers, or going up and flying kites, or going to Stinson Beach. Just those places just hold really strong memories for me. So what are our ideas about conservation? I know when I came in here, I was just like, oh, well, we save land, we protect land, but so what are our thoughts about it? What are we protecting, and to what end? When we look at, this is the Estero Americano, and so there's, we have this amazing coastal properties that we want to preserve and protect and have remain open space, and we have really strong policies here for that. We want to protect from development. We want to maintain open spaces and corridors. Similarly, this is Cooley Ranch. We want to protect our open space and our ag land. And we have, organizations that put conservation easements on these properties to protect lands for development, working ranches and wild spaces. But, what are we protecting it from, and what are we protecting it for? And I guess my question is, what does it take for us to instill a love of place so that we want to protect it, and that we develop a relationship with that? And I think it's that we develop a relationship with those places, and and so that we kind of really come to understand the inherent value of it. Not how much it's worth, but what is it worth to us? And what happens to us if we don't have that open space and that land? So what does Land Paths do? Well, we just had a little board retreat retreat meeting, and one of the things we talked about is how do we talk about land paths, and what is it that we do? What is it that inspires us? And our assistant director, Lee Hackling, told a story about early on in land paths, there was an outing. Folks went out to this beautiful hillside, and they experienced this really beautiful sunset, and they were, people were calling after they had this amazing experience. It was just, stellar. It's, you know how it is sometimes at night when you're outside and the light gets just right, and you just kind of feel like you're in this glow. The way she was describing it, that's what it sounded like to me. I wasn't there. And apparently in the next few days, people were calling and communicating just what a powerful experience that was. And Lee said she was, talking to Craig and saying, what was it what was it that happened there? I mean, we have a sunset every day. You know, there's sunsets out there every single day, but what was different is that, you know, we provided an opportunity for people to go out and experience that. And that, I don't know, for some reason, that just really kind of struck me as what it is that we do and the value in that. So, there it is. So our mission, LandPath's mission, is to foster a love of the land in Sonoma County, to experience the beauty, to understand the value, and to assist in healing the land and the community. And again, I think that, you know, our commitment around that is to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to do that. It's not just us in this room. It's not, you know, a membership organization. It's to give everyone a sense, that feeling that they belong in these beautiful places and in the world, and we're all part of this, and we all have a you know, a right to have these experiences. So back to the idea of conservation. You know, one of the things, some of the questions that came up, some of the ideas that came out of that board workshop, when we were, you know, we're sharing about how do we talk about land paths. What is it? How does the board see land paths, and how do we sum it up for people when we're talking about it? And some of the thoughts that came out was that, you know, we're a community conservation organization. We're about reconnecting people with the land. We're a people's land trust. We're a community health organization. Social justice through land, social change through nature. And, you know, and so it's bigger than just conservation. It's really offering opportunities for people to connect and develop a sense of ownership with, and with the place. And so what is it that inspires me? So you know, that's kind of gets to where I was talking with some friends last night saying, yeah, I'm doing my maiden voyage tomorrow and I'm really nervous. And she said, well, just kind of quickly, you know, just really briefly talk about, you know, and I just get so excited when I talk about some of what it is we do. And, you know, when I got done, actually the gal called me after, one of the gals that was there called me, she said, you know, I just really want to volunteer. And I'm like, yeah. You know? So there's opportunities for you too to do that. So on the most basic level, you know, we talked about the fact that we do an outings program, and for me, that's like kind of the most basic. That's how we get people to come outside and just have some simple, basic experiences of being outdoors. It kind of gets the ball rolling for folks. So some of the outings that we do that are coming up. These are all coming up, and they're on our website, and you're welcome to participate, and almost all of them are free. We have a bat potluck next Saturday. You can come out and experience you know, a potluck and then a little walk, and then we hang out and we watch the bats. And then if you want to spend the night, you have an opportunity to stay at Bohemia Preserve out in the West County. We have a feral pig ecology outing. We have a yoga hike and a potluck. You can hike at Pole Mountain out near Cazadero. We have a spring birding outing in Jenner Headlands. Birds, bats, butterflies, late bloomers. We're doing it. We also do more community kind of minded events. We have Day of the Child coming up at Healdsburg Ridge, which we don't own, but we help manage for the city of Healdsburg. And that's through the Sonoma Environmental Education Collaboration. And we'll have, and Vicki had to leave, darn, because Umpqua's bringing their ice cream truck, so free ice cream. And baby goats. Redwood Hill Farms is bringing out their baby goats. So, and in June, it's not on our calendar yet, but Wine Country Star Parties will be back out there doing another star party at Bohemia. So for me, that's kind of like, you know, the basic beginning of what we do, just to kind of engage people, gives people an opportunity to get out into our preserves and also unprotected open space. You know, we're talking about the organizations that put conservation easements, you know, on the property, whether it's open space or Sonoma Land Trust. But, you know, in some cases, public money goes to protect those places, and the public doesn't necessarily have access, because sometimes they're working ranches. But we have, you know, arranged with the Open Space District to be contracted to take people out to out on those properties. So people do have access. You know, they're on guided outings, so we do get to get people out onto those private places. And again, like I said, almost all of it is included at no cost, because we want to make it accessible. We want to remove the barriers, make it easier for everyone to be part of that. And a lot of our outings are staffed by docent volunteers. So you know, that's an important component, is to engage people in this process. That's part of that whole community conservation idea. We're not a membership organization, and because we want to make it easy for people to get out there. And also, just in terms of the outings, I want to talk about Vamos Afuera, which means let's go outside. And because again, we want to try and make things accessible to provide these opportunities to underserved community, whether it's folks, Latino in our community or people in wheelchairs, seniors. It's really important that everybody has an opportunity to have these experiences. And so again, taking it to the next level is engaging kids. The idea, no child left out, no child left inside. That every kid should be able to have meaningful outdoor experiences. We have a couple of really great programs. In our own backyard is an outdoor education program we do during the school year. And right now, there we go. Yeah, right now we've got, I wrote this down. Anyway, we have about 24, I think it's 24 classes, 12 different schools. And these kids, we don't just go, it's not a one-off. We don't go out and take these kids outdoors and let them have their single experience. We go into the classroom and we talk with them about we get them prepared, and then we go out to the same property 4 times over the course of a year. So they get to see it in different seasons. They have different curriculum. One of their outings is a stewardship day, so they're involved in actually, the last one is they're actually involved in doing some kind of care, whether it's invasive species removal or, there's some way that we engage them with caring for the land. So they develop that sense of ownership for that place. Inspired Forward, I mentioned, after Sandy Hook happened, we started a teen program. So we work, right now we have 8 cohorts. So there's 8 groups of kids that we're working with right now. They're 10 to 15 kids each. And it's some through the schools and some through other programs, but it's like, how do we get these kids involved and engaged with each other, give them leadership skills, give them a sense of self-worth. My kid chose rugby, these kids get to be outside, We also have summer youth programs. Owl Camp is kind of our signature outdoor 4-week-long education, outdoor summer camp where it's free play. You get to go splash in Mark West Creek. We hold it up at Rancho Mark West out in St. Helena Road. And they get to play and splash. We have the Mark West Creek. We've got a pond. Right now, this year, we're actually upping. We had 150 kids on our waiting list last year. So we're actually upping. We're going to have about 48 kids per week for 4 weeks for that program. And again, last year was the first year we expanded our summer youth programs to include teenage camps. So we have, we don't call them camp now, river trek. So we took kids down the river on kayaks, for a few days and have a multi-day outdoor experience. And again, it's that leadership, that sense of connectedness with each other and with the land. And similarly, we had a intro to backpacking camp last year, getting kids outside. And we're expanding those programs this year as well. We're adding an extra week of river camp. And I'm going to pick it up here because we got to get going. But I also want to say about that is that those camps, it's again to that commitment to engaging everybody, is that we have our policy is that 30% of all these kids are going to be on scholarship. We participate in the Portrait of Sonoma County, and we really want not only our participants but our staff to reflect the community. So we have multiple bilingual, bicultural staff persons, and because it's really important that the folks that we're serving see people that look like them. So again, here's actually these are slides from Owl Camp and IUB. We've had over 1,000 participants in IUB, and we do about 20,000 field hours per year, and that includes the kids' hours, volunteer hours, etc. And then I talked a little bit about our youth programs here. In addition, well, actually, I'm going to talk about Summer Bear at the next slide here. But again, these are kids from Inspired Forward at Willow Creek Ranch, and then also the river trek and the backpack camp. And so these are just some quotes from some of the kids I'm going to go through. These are mostly going to be from IUB, and I'm just going to zip through these because yeah, it's just really inspiring. We have so many amazing kids. So again, going to yet the next level is we started a program called, well, we talked about Vamos a Fuera, and so we have these epic adventures. So 2 years ago, we had our first trip to Yosemite, and we took a group of, I think there was probably over 40 people who had never been camping before, had never been to Yosemite Park before, and it was a Spanish-led trip, this what we call an epic adventure to Yosemite. We did it 2 years ago, we did it again last year. I talked to one of the staff people yesterday, and she's hoping that we're going to be able to do that again. We had a partnership this year. It was just kind of a fluke that it worked out this way, but we had an opportunity to take a group of, again, people who had not necessarily never been camping, some people who live in Sonoma County who'd never been to the coast before, and they had an opportunity to go spend a multi-day adventure out at Point Reyes and have their meals prepared for them, get to go on hikes, get to experience, the beauty of this national park. Where even though it's just down the road, they had never been before. It's just our commitment to really reaching everybody in the community is so strong. It really is touching to me. I've worked in the Latino community for a long time, and so it's just this commitment to this organization to reach everybody. So speaking of reaching everybody, there we go. Whoops, there we go. So yeah, that idea about bringing everybody in. So we want to reach everybody, including has been described. I don't know this gentleman, but he's been described as the Vietnam cigarette smoking Vietnam vet. It's like there's room for everybody, and everybody should have rich places to be. The kids up on top are from the Inspired Forward. The little young man in the middle is probably from IUB or from Al Camp. And then we have outings as well, the rock and ramble and roll kind of events where we can have kids on little bikes that may not be able to do a big hike, and then folks in wheelchairs as well, or slow movers. And another program that I find really dear, oh my goodness, look at that, we're about running out of time. Well, I'm going to just talk really quickly about Bear Farm. So Bear Farm was a community garden idea that has just turned, I'm just going to zip through here because we're going to run out of time, but basically it went from a big open empty field in the city of Santa Rosa. We have a partnership with the city of Santa Rosa to operate this farm, and it turned into a garden. But what has happened is that we have this whole generation of kids that have grown up in this space, and it's become not just a community garden. We have like 64 garden beds that the community in the neighborhood gets to engage in and grow their own food, as well as a teaching garden that has just become this community hub. And we have, the master gardeners that come in. We have tons of volunteers that come in and take care of this place, but it's really become a community organizing place, a community organizing tool. And so we have a ton of stuff going on over there, which I'm going to tell you about right now. It has kind of transformed this vacant lot into this important gathering place. There's weekly potlucks that happen there. During the summertime, we do a free lunch program for kids, so that they're right across from Shepherd Elementary. And so we do a free lunch program when the school's closed. And these kids come, and that's kind of an opportunity for us to work with them. We run an iRead program, the early literacy program called iRead. Well, we put our land path spin as iRead outside. So we have kids that come in, and we have volunteers from the community that come in and sit down with these kids and read. And that's as well as having multiple opportunities during the week to have migrant education come in. We work with St. Joseph's and Vista Clinics, and they'll come in and do wellness checks, farming for health. So it's become like every day of the week during the summertime, there's something happening there that engages the kids and the families. And these community potlucks, we bring in the Imaginists. We're actually this Friday, assuming it's not raining, we're going to be showing an outdoor screening of Dolores, the movie. And the gatherings, the community gatherings that happen there are truly multicultural. It's the one place that I can go, where we say, oh yeah, we're having this multicultural event, but it's like people don't segregate automatically. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. And then briefly, because nobody stood up yet and kicked me out, I just want to talk about stewardship, caring for the land. We really rely on volunteers, and this is like taking it to that next level. So you've gotten involved in an outing, you've fallen in love with a place, but you want to do more, you want to dig deeper, and so we have lots of opportunities for doing that. And in some cases, it's invasive species removal, restoring oak woodlands, building trails, clearing trails. I'm going to zip through the rest of these. Again, there's something for everybody. You can even come volunteer in our office. We're doing multi-day outdoor treks. And then our places, we have some private preserves that we own, but we don't own land for the sake of owning land or locking it up. We own it so that we can do our programs. And I mentioned that we have contracts with Open Space District. We've got partnerships with some of our places here. And we have partnerships with the City of Santa Rosa, Bear Farm, City of Healdsburg, Fitch Mountain, Healdsburg Ridge, Sonoma County Regional Parks, Friends of the Cedar, state parks, private landowners, volunteers, Sonoma Land Trust. So that's it. I know I went over time. Thank you for not booting me out.
So we have one more task for you.
Do I have to wear a
Nope. And we especially wouldn't want that because Matt would have to take his off to give it to you. We don't even want to go there. But there we go. Last week I think we had like $75 in.
I forgot to buy
Oh my gosh, we got a lot in there now. Woo! Look at all that money. We'll have to turn it up. Oops. Almost lost a ticket. All right, let me get these cards out of the way. Pick a good one.
Is Marty here?
And the prize this week from Susan Scott
Oh, look, it says Marty Webb on
is
it.
a full bag of pistachios.
I'm going to lean into you here. 6688436.
Oh!
Barbara! Woo-hoo.
36.
All right, Barbara. You're looking for the ace of spades, although this deck will only have one thing. Ooh,
So,
ten of spades, so close, so close.
but so far away.
Thanks to you.
You're welcome. And, don't forget to buy raffle tickets for the Santa Rosa Fire Relief. And don't forget to sign up for your Map Your Neighborhood training sessions. What else we got? Oh, joke of the day. Where am I?
Joe. Okay, so this fella dies and goes to the pearly gates and meets St. Peter, and St. Peter, all around there's clocks. And he says, "What's with the clocks?" He says, "Well, everybody who's around on Earth and who's lived has a clock. And the minute hand moves one for every lie you tell. So look, there's Mother Teresa's. It never moved. And there's Honest Abe's. It only moved twice." So the guy said, "That's terrific." He says, "Where's Donald Trump's?" "Oh, well, that's in God's rec room. It's a ceiling fan."
Now, we're gonna get it, we're close enough now, it's only next Monday, so, so, no quickie board meeting after all. So, Joe?
Here we go.
Take us home.
Trails to you.